I recently made a video about 5 reasons why you should become a respiratory therapist. If you are looking into becoming a respiratory therapist, stick around to find out maybe if it's not for you. Hey guys, I'm Daniel from Dual Ear Media, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why you should not become a respiratory therapist. With full transparency, I do want to say that I love my job and I think being a respiratory therapist is amazing. But I don't think it's meant for everybody. And these are the reasons why you might not want to go into this profession. Reason number 1, your profession isn't recognized to the same degree that a doctor or nurse is recognized. Now, working as a respiratory therapist, sometimes you get called RT. They don't even know your name, and some people don't even want to learn your name. There's been shifts where I come home and I start thinking my name might be RT. Even in the news or in the movies or shows, you barely see respiratory therapists. We're kind of an enigma because we don't really get mentioned, but we're always there in the background. Now, recently I have been seeing a little bit more press about respiratory therapists, especially with what's going on in the world, but it's still nowhere near other professions. Reason number 2, you're always exposed to some nasty bugs. Now, you get called to the emergency room when you have to give somebody a breathing treatment, or maybe you have to intubate them or assist in something. And you don't know if they have tuberculosis, you don't know if they have meningitis, you don't know if they have the flu or even the coronavirus. So you're constantly at risk for getting exposed to some of the nastiest breathing bugs, bacteria, viruses that there are out there. Now, this might not be good for a lot of people because some people might be sensitive to that, or some people might just not like that kind of stuff. Reason number 3, you'll be seeing a lot of code blues. Now, a code blue is when somebody goes into cardiac arrest or respiratory arrest. Now, as a respiratory therapist, you're the number 1 person that they call and respond to go help assist breathe for the patient. Now, while you're doing that, you might have to do compressions. You're going to see a lot of people die in your profession. Now, there's going to be times where you're going to be with the patient, you're going to see the family members crying, you're going to be there, you're going to be almost in tears, and as soon as they call it and that person expires and ceases to live any longer, you're going to have to go within 5 or 10 minutes and probably see another patient and with a smile on your face. You really have to hold it in. You can't show that you're sad. Sometimes you just want to cry, but you can't. That you're going to have to deal with a lot of that as an RT. Number 4. RTs are usually forgotten about in the hospital. Now let me explain what that means. So most respiratory departments are actually in some obscure place, whether they're next to a morgue, somewhere in the basement with no service, with no nothing. Respiratory therapists are not considered when they're building the plans for a hospital. It's almost as if the architects get together and they're like, okay, we're gonna make a place for the nurses, we're gonna make floors, and all of a sudden they forget about RTs. And they're like, well, there's some room next to a morgue. I've worked in places that have shower heads. I've seen places that have bathroom tiles. Sometimes you never know where you're going to work. So get ready to be in a really cramped space with way too many people breathing down your neck. Number 5, there's not that much room for growth. Now, as a nurse, you could become a nurse anesthetist. As a doctor, you can go into pediatrics. You can open up your own clinic. As a nurse, you could do other things too. But as an RT, you're kind of limited to working in a hospital or in some kind of pulmonary rehab place. There's only a few jobs that you could do as an RT, and when you're working at a hospital, there's pretty much 3 departments. You're either going to be floor care, ICU, or something to do with pediatrics or NICU patients. So you really have to be pretty much confirmed that that's what you want to do, because you're not going to be able to go that many places. Now, the industry is still young. There's still a lot of room for it to grow. There's other things that respiratory therapists are now in charge of. Some hospitals are getting RTs to do art lines. Some are getting them to do ECMO. Some are getting them to do intubate. Their profession is still growing, but it's still fairly young. So you might not have that much room to expand and go somewhere else within the respiratory community. Overall, though, I do think that being an RT it's been an amazing thing in my life. I think it's going to be an amazing thing in your life. But if these are some of the things that might bother you, probably go into another profession, probably go to another career. If you did like my video, I have a video that I posted about 5 reasons you should become a respiratory therapist. You guys should watch that. If you like this video, hit that like button. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Thank you guys for watching.